So let me tell you all about my day. Oh, you Southerners out there, I'm from New York. You're like, big deal. You do it every day. But I got to pet a possum today. Yes, it was playing dead in my yard because my dog scared it and it passed out. And since it was passed out, I figured why not pet a possum? And this is Billy Possum. I named him. And yeah, like he let me pet him while he was playing dead. And I gave him a snack. I gave him a dog biscuit, but he didn't eat it until he walked away. But yeah, he actually got up and walked away. He looks dead in that picture. No, I can assure you he wasn't dead. He's the actor of the year. He wins the award, the Oscar. All right, so you can watch my video if you want to see me petting Billy Possum. All right, so I saw this, and I'll tell you all about it. We're going to open it up fast motion, and then I'll get to jibba-jabbing. So I'll tell you the story. I'm going to tell you anyway. Are you going to listen? Probably hit the back button by now. So when people list things on eBay or on Etsy, Mercari, Poshmark, First Dibs, Ruby Lane, you got split seconds when they first list something to realize if it's a sleeper or not, because other people will buy it and you'll lose out on your sleeper. So you have to make split decisions. So I made a split decision because I didn't know if this was good or bad. Well, we'll find out. $55, you know, good or bad. It could be worth $55. It could be worth $5. I don't know. The seller had a couple of rank pictures and, all right, I'm afraid to look. I'm afraid to look. I'm afraid to look. Did I get my money's worth? Let's find out. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Wait, is this a crack? God, please, God. No, it doesn't look like a crack. It looks like it was in the making. Oh, wow. Okay, it's like a design. And what we have here is, wow. This is actually quite impressive. I'm going to clean it, by the way. And you always say, leave the patina on. No, I think it's antique. It looks like it's old. It's at least 80 years old. And what we have is a tiger conch shell. These are quite rare for cameos. You don't generally see the leopard spots. You don't really generally see this. And you'll generally see like pretty ladies or mythological characters like gods and goddesses. But you generally don't really see too many scenes with horses and a horseshoe. And horseshoes denote good luck. Wow, look at that. We got an equestrian or maybe steeplechase or jumping. It's very British, very English style. And like maybe someone fox hunting. And yeah, something like that. How old is it? I don't know. I mean, it doesn't look like it's from the 50s or 60s. So we're going to look. I mean, if it had a tube hinge, it would be Victorian. But this looks like an early non-mass-produced round hinge. The closure looks like a safety catch that was actually, these were really mass-produced in the early 20th century up until today. But it could have been replaced. So I'm trying to see if it was a replacement. Sometimes the pins would be broken. So there would have been a C catch over there, which is shaped like a C without a safety mechanism. And sometimes those get replaced. I mean, I see some evidence of solder. Don't know. But so this could be 1900 to 1930, I'm going to guess. Somewhere around there. Maybe Edwardian. Almost meets Art Deco. All right. But this is really dirty. What is it made out of? It looks brass, but it could be rolled gold. I just don't like that design on the top. But you can see that was carved into the shell. And wow, this is amazing. All right, so look at it now. It is dirty. I'm going to clean it. All right, so we're going to also ask AI questions. You're going to be like, what? Artificial intelligence? That's right. I'm going to clean this. I'm going to get some Simichrome. And these toothbrushes, I don't know if you could see this, but I get these on Amazon. I got a 24-pack for like $9. And it's actually supposed to be a nano toothbrush. It's really soft. It feels like suede. It is so soft. It's got like 20,000 bristles. And this is actually supposed to be for people. But I use these to polish because it's so soft. It's buttery soft, like almost like fur. It feels like, yeah, it feels like rabbit fur. All right, and so it doesn't scratch your item. If you want to clean your Cameo, it's really not recommended. But I use Simichrome polish. It's very good for any kind of metal. It doesn't have to be gold or silver. And I use that toothbrush that you see there. I'll give you links if you're on YouTube. If you're on TikTok, I can't give you links. So follow me over on YouTube at Futures Past 1. I get these polishing rags. On the outside is a buffing. On the inside is sandwiched, impregnated with polish, you know, silver polishing rag, but it never has enough polish. Q-tips, mineral oil, and Dawn dishwashing detergent. All right, so I cleaned it. I didn't clean the other side. I just oiled the shell and cleaned the inside of the shell as well. So how can you tell you have a real Cameo? It's not flat. You see how it comes out? Look at the relief on this. The horse, even the legs are well done. Do you see that? Do you see the details on this? It's jumping over a creek, and you can see like a little forest in the background. I don't know if you could see that. Do you see that? Little houses. This is really a gorgeous vignette. And then on the back, you can see through it. If you hold it up to the light, you can see the image. Right now, we're not getting too much sun, but you can generally see that's how you know it's a Cameo. And as you can see, I did not clean the back. I just oiled the shell. And it looks so much healthier and so much happier. Look at the gold. I think it's a 9K gold. It's probably rolled gold. I don't know if it's solid, but it looks good. Sometimes during the Edwardian and Victorian and earlier times, they would put real golds on the front of things, and then they would put like base metals on the back. It's quite common, actually. Again, probably 1900 to about 1930s is my guess. I'm not an expert in cameos, but look at the horse. Look at that. These are so rare that I didn't know what to do. Now, I thought this was a crack on the top. You can clearly see it doesn't go through the back. So it's an ornamentation. It's the way they carved it. It may have been because this is tiger cowrie. And tiger cowrie actually has leopard-like spots. And these are, it's not ultra rare shell. But you don't usually see cameos with this mottled leopard appearance. It's really quite, I probably maybe never ever even seen one. I've seen actual whole tiger cowrie shells with a cameo done like a sailor's Valentine style, but I've never seen one with this. Look at that. Look at the contrast between the horseshoe and the horseback rider. And you can really see, like, this really makes it pop. All right, so let's ask AI about this cameo and find out, is it really rare? And did I get my $55 worth?
Remarkable Edwardian piece is a rare find, particularly due to the unconventional use of the tiger cowrie shell for a traditional equestrian theme. While shell cameos typically use helmet or conch shells for their uniform layers, the use of cowrie, especially with its natural leopard spotting, makes this an unusual crossover between Victorian novelty and classic equestrian art. The rarity of the subject, equestrian themes, specifically jockeys and fox hunting scenes, are considered quite rare in the world of shell cameos. Subject frequency. Most cameos from this era depict women, mythical figures, or Roman profiles. Carved jockeys are much harder to find, and were often special commissions for horse owners or racing enthusiasts. The tiger cowrie shell, using a tiger cowrie, Cyprea tigris, for a cameo, is uncommon because of the shell's spots and color variations. The carver cleverly used the shell's natural dark spots to create the horseshoe border, a technique that highlights the good luck symbolism of the piece. Orientation. An inverted, upside-down horseshoe in jewelry often represents pouring luck out onto the wearer, though in some cultures it was simply a stylistic choice. Design and period details. The leopard print you see is actually the natural modeled pattern of the tiger cowrie shell. Material. The carver removed the dark outer layer of the shell to reveal the white layer beneath for the jockey, leaving the spotted outer rim to form the horseshoe. Mounting. The twisted rope gold border and the dual pin/pendant bail are classic Edwardian features, circa 1901 to 1915. High-quality pieces from this period often used 10K, 14K, or 15K gold. Symbolism. In the Edwardian era, the cowrie shell was a symbol of fertility and wealth, while the horse and horseshoe represented status and luck. Rarity premium. Because you have a triple threat. A rare jockey subject, a unique tiger cowrie material, and no damage. This piece sits at the higher end of the market for shell cameos. Condition. Since yours has no damage, chips or cracks, it retains its full collector value, as cameo with a tiger cowrie's natural spots incorporated into the design is highly rare. While shell cameos were mass-produced in the late 19th century, they almost exclusively used helmet or conch shells for their uniform, predictable color layers. Rarity of the spotted design. 1 in 500 plus. You might see hundreds of traditional cameos before finding one carved from a tiger cowrie. Most carvers avoided the shell because its dark, mottled spots are difficult to integrate into a clean portrait. Intentional use. In your piece, the artist didn't just happen upon a spotted shell. They specifically chose the tiger cowrie, Cyprea tigris, to use its natural leopard pattern as a decorative border, the double rarity. It is exceptionally rare to find this specific shell combined with an equestrian subject. Most tiger cowrie cameos depict simple souvenirs, like palm trees or Rebecca at the well, rather than fine Edwardian jewelry themes like jockeys or fox hunts. Why it's unique. Standard cameos rely on a white on brown or white on pink contrast. Your piece uses 3 distinct visual layers. 1. The dark outer spots, left intact to form the horseshoe. 2. The white middle layer, carved away to create the raised jockey/horse. 3. The deep base color, exposed behind the carving to provide depth. Because tiger cowries were often used for unmounted souvenirs or religious lord's prayer carvings, finding one expertly set in a large, high-quality Edwardian gold frame suggests it was a custom commission for a wealthy horse racing enthusiast. The piece is truly a standout because it breaks the rules of traditional cameo carving in several fascinating ways. Finding a horseback rider on an antique shell cameo is exceptionally rare, and here is a deeper dive into why that is the case and what makes your specific piece so unusual. 1. The traditional versus the rare. For centuries, shell cameos followed a very strict hierarchy of subject matter. If you walk into an antique shop today, 95% of the cameos you see will be the anonymous lady, a profile of a woman, or mythological figures, like Diana or Flora. Common. Portraits, floral motifs, or biblical scenes, like Rebecca at the well. Rare. Animals, landscapes, and daily life scenes. Very rare. Equestrian scenes, horse and rider. Carving a horse requires a much higher level of skill than a profile. A carver must manage the animal's complex anatomy, the sense of motion, and the tiny details of the rider's proportions, all within the thin, brittle layers of a shell. 2. The influence of the Edwardian sporting look. While horses are rare in the broader history of cameos, they did have a moment during the Edwardian era, 1901 to 1910. This was a time when sporting jewelry became high fashion. The royal trend, King Edward VII, was a massive fan of horse racing. This sparked a craze for equestrian-themed jewelry, including horseshoes, fox heads, and riding crops. The crossover. Your piece is a rare crossover. It takes the traditional feminine medium of a shell cameo and applies the masculine, sporty theme of the era. It was likely commissioned or purchased by someone who wanted to show their love for the hunt or the track while still wearing a classic brooch. 3. The choice of the tiger cowrie shell. The use of the tiger cowrie, Cyprea tigris, adds another layer of rarity. Most cameos use helmet shells, which give a white on peach look, or queen conch, white on pink. The tiger cowrie is much harder to work with because its layers are thinner, and the leopard spots on the outer edge are irregular. The frame. In your piece, the artist expertly used the dark spotted outer layer of the cowrie to create that natural horseshoe border. This is a brilliant use of the shell's natural anatomy to complement the equestrian theme. 4. Why the rider scene is significant. In most rare horse cameos, you usually only see a horse's head, a profile. Finding a full-body horse with a rider in motion, specifically jumping or galloping, is a masterpiece level subject. Motion. In your brooch, the horse is in mid-stride. Capturing action in a shell carving is significantly more difficult than a static portrait, as the carver cannot afford a single slip of the tool without ruining the legs of the horse. The horseshoe motif. The fact that the carving is framed by a horseshoe shape, etched into the shell, doubled the good luck symbolism that was so popular in the early 1900s. Summary of rarity factors. Feature. Rarity level. Why? Subject. High. Equestrian scenes are vastly outnumbered by female portraits. Action. Very high. Capturing a rider in motion is technically difficult in brittle shell. Material. High. Tiger cowrie is less common than helmet or cornelian shells. Condition. Exceptional. These thin shells often crack. Hairlines. Yours being no damage is a huge plus. Your brooch isn't just a piece of jewelry. It's a tiny piece of Edwardian social history that celebrates the era's obsession with the sporting life.
Upon further investigation, the letters GH were scratched on the back of the cameo.
Hand-scratched initials on the back of an antique cameo generally fall into two categories. 1. The artist's signature. Unlike metal hallmarks, which are stamped with a punch, cameo carvers often signed their work by lightly scratching or engraving their initials or name into the back of the shell itself. Why it matters. Seeing GH on the shell, rather than the gold frame, suggests the carver was proud of this specific work. Since your piece features a complex equestrian scene, an artist would be much more likely to sign it than they would a generic portrait. Common practice. Some Victorian and Edwardian carvers use these hidden signatures as a mark of quality. 2. Jewelers or owners' scratch marks. If the marks are very tiny and look like they were made with a needle on the metal or the very edge of the shell. Inventory marks. Jewelers often scratch tiny codes into the back of pieces to track stock or identify a specific repair. Provenance. Occasionally, a previous owner would scratch their initials to brand the piece for security, though this is less common on delicate cameos than on heavy gold watches. Potential candidates. In the Edwardian sporting jewelry world, GH could correspond to specific workshops or silversmiths who specialized in equestrian themes, such as George Howson, often associated with Harrison Brothers and Howson, or George Hape. Finding the initials GH scratched into the back of your cameo is a thrilling discovery. In the world of antique jewelry, these aren't just random letters, they are a direct link to the piece's origin. Based on the period and the GH signature, there are two high probability scenarios. 1. The carver's mark, the most likely. Unlike the gold frame, which is stamped by a jeweler, the back of the shell is where the artist, the cameo carver, would leave their mark. Gareth Eckley, or similar artists. While many carvers remained anonymous, GH could refer to a specific artisan specializing in high-detail action scenes. The custom order. Because equestrian cameos were rare, they were often custom commissions. A carver would scratch their initials to denote a masterwork, a way of saying, I carved this horse myself, rather than using a factory-made stencil. 2. The jewelry house, George Howson. There is a very famous Edwardian-era maker whose hallmark is GH, George Howson, of the firm Harrison Brothers and Howson. The Sheffield connection. George Howson was a master silversmith and jeweler, active in Sheffield and London right during the height of the Edwardian era, early 1900s. The specialty. His firm was known for luxury items and sporting accessories. If your brooch's gold frame is also marked GH, it confirms the piece was produced by one of the most respected jewelry houses of the time. The scratch versus stamp. Even if the shell has the scratch and the gold doesn't, it was common for high-end jewelers like Howson to source high-quality signed cameos from Italy and set them in their own custom mounts. Why GH and a horse scene together? In the early 1900s, there was a trend of signed cameos gaining value. Collectors began to treat them like miniature paintings. A signature, even scratched, instantly elevates the piece from costume to fine art. The fact that your piece features a horse rider, the rarest subject, and a signature, GH, means it was likely a premium item sold at a high-end boutique. The kind of piece a gentleman would buy for a lady who shared his passion for riding or the hunt. A quick way to tell. Check the gold. Look on the pin stem or the very edge of the gold bezel for any tiny stamps. Numbers like 9 quart, 15 quart, or 18 quart. Examine the signature. Does the GH look like it was done with a steady hand? Artist signatures on shell are usually very fluid, whereas jeweler inventory marks look like chicken scratch. Edwardian era, jewelry with masculine themes, like horses and riders, was a major fashion statement for women for several practical and social reasons. 1. The new woman and independence. The early 1900s saw the rise of the new woman. Women were becoming more active in sports, suffrage, and public life. Wearing a sporting piece like yours was a way for a woman to show she was modern, capable, and perhaps a rider herself. It signaled freedom and agency, rather than just traditional Victorian demureness. 2. High society sporting life. Hunting, horse racing, and riding were the ultimate pastimes of the upper class. The royal influence, King Edward VII and Queen Alexandra, were obsessed with the track. Because the royals loved horses, equestrian chic became the height of luxury. The riding habit. Women wore specific, tailored outfits called riding habits. A brooch like yours would have been the perfect accessory to pin to the cravat or lapel of a formal riding jacket. 3. Symbol of status. Since keeping horses was expensive, equestrian jewelry functioned as a status symbol. It didn't just say, I like horses. It said, I belong to a social class that has the time and money for thoroughbreds. 4. Good luck. The horseshoe motif, which your cameo cleverly uses the shell's natural spots to mimic, was the most popular good luck charm of the era. Women wore them to bring luck to their homes and their ventures. A husband or suitor would often gift such a piece as a asterisk token of shared passion. In the Edwardian era, if a couple rode together or met at a hunt, this brooch served as a romantic souvenir of their time in the field. It was a high-status way to say, I recognize and admire your skill as a horsewoman. In today's 2026 market, you are likely sitting right in that $450 to $650 range. While standard shell cameos often sell for $200 minus $300, your piece has several value-add factors that push it higher. Year of the Horse 2026. We are currently in a Year of the Horse cycle, which has sparked a massive resurgence in equestrian and Western-themed jewelry. Collectors are actively seeking out high-quality horse silhouettes like yours. The GH signature, having a signed piece, especially one that isn't a mass-produced portrait, adds a premium of roughly 25 to 30% to the base value. Shell rarity, tiger cowrie, is much more difficult to find than traditional pink or peach shells. Its distinctive leopard spots, acting as a natural frame for the rider, is a major selling point for curiosity collectors. If the frame is 14K gold or higher, or if you sell through a specialty equestrian auction house, where buyers are less price sensitive and more focused on the theme, you could certainly see the needle move towards $750 plus.
All right, so once again, thank you so much for watching. We learned AI really helps us. I can't believe how much AI knew about the brooch slash pendant. By the way, it's a pendant also. We learned something. Didn't we learn about sporting jewelry? We learned about different designs and fashions. We learned about a lot of things because of AI, which is quite shocking. So once again, I'll see you guys all on the next one where I unbox unusual treasures.